All right, guys. So one skill I think people should really get, now I'm just going to jump right into this video, is speaking, right? And I'm not the best speaker by any means, like I'm not. But what I want to talk about in this video, which is I think super important, is conveying ideas, right? One reason, I'll use the example of Andrew Tate, right? Or even Donald Trump, or like, certain people, there's a lot of, one person comes to your mind, I'm sure, as I say this, who's a good communicator. Maybe Patrick Bet-David, if you watch him. Maybe someone you know in person, face to face. Good communicators get away with a lot in life. And that doesn't mean any bad thing. That means they can get a lot in life because they can negotiate their way into, really good situations. That's why salespeople are some of the highest paid people in the world. That's why a lot of these people are paid super well, is because it's a hard skill set to be able to communicate. So in this video, I want to talk about a little bit about myself, what I've been able to go through to be able to communicate better. And for myself personally, if you guys watch my first video, I'll play a clip of it right here just so you guys can understand what I was working with when I started. And this wasn't even 2 years ago, by the way. Just some quick pointers to look out for if you're starting, or even if you've been in it for a while, just kind of what I've learned. I wasn't the best at communication, right? Obviously, I was a lot of ums, a lot of unsure. You could hear when I was speaking, I wasn't fully convicted. I wasn't sure. And one reason how I was able to kind of change that was speaking to the camera, and just no cuts. If you guys have watched any of my videos recently, it's been a lot of videos with no cuts. And the reason is because if you speak to the camera and you say, I'm not even going to edit this, I'm going to just upload this, and people, hundreds of thousands, even thousands of people can see this. If I stutter, if I mess up, it's all there. Then you're going to teach yourself not to do that. Right? So that's for myself personally, I found that really helpful. And I think that's a skill that people need in order to make a lot of money. Okay. And I'll give you an example, especially if someone's starting, just like understanding this skill set, because I think it's super underrated, right? Like the reason Andrew Tate got so popular was because he could convey ideas in a way that kind of annoyed people, but then it was the baseline fundamental of what he was saying was correct, but then he would say it in a way that would anger people, right? But he could convey it super well, and exactly how he wanted to. He curated it exactly how he wanted to. So one thing, one example I'll give is when I was on sales calls, I was 16 years old. I could put a photo of it actually up. I saw this a few weeks ago. I posted this in my Discord. I don't know how this Carson Reed was selling people, but he was. Okay, so if you have any excuses to yourself, just understand that guy was closing. Okay, that guy was closing real estate agents on $1,000 a month to run their ads. So wherever you're at right now, I'm just telling you, it doesn't matter that too much. But point is I would jump on these sales calls. I look like a kid, right? I would look like a complete kid, and of course there's that judge, that bias, but I couldn't communicate ideas properly, right? And that's why I didn't close people that well. I was able to get sales, but it took so many calls in order until I got sales. It took 6 months. I got 6 months of no results, right? And that might sound like a lot. That might sound like little to some, depending on where you're at if you've started your entrepreneurship journey. Point is it all comes down to communication. So like Vivek Ramaswamy, he's one guy. He's in politics. He can communicate. If you listen to that guy speak, he can communicate. And a lot of people gravitate towards that. They like him because of that. And that's when I think of him, I think, oh, good communication, good communicator. So if you're listening to this, I would say speak in front of a camera, and you don't have to post it, but you have to review it. So one thing I do with my videos is I watch all my videos back when I record them, because then I see, that could have been better there, or I said there, I said there. I go back and I do that stuff, because then I can, in retrospect, in my brain, subconsciously, I'm like, I know not to do that. And that's something big, which is the subconscious mind across a lot of things, especially speaking and sales, is you need to have conviction, right? If people can see through it. People can see through if you're not fully convicted on what you're trying to sell them. They're like, nah, I'm good. The people will say that. So that's first thing. That's first thing I think people should do. I'm going to go over 3 big things people should do in this video, and that's one of them. Speaking to the camera and improve your speaking ability. Really, speaking ability is so important. 2, which is, people won't like this, but appearance. I think I still look like a kid, to be honest. And I think that'll change, but I hope it'll change. But one thing too is appearance, and it's like, it's subconscious again. Like people just judge you upon it, and it's not. Of course, you don't don't wish for that to be happening, but it does happen. And one thing is, like, I'm gonna say the basic stuff here: going to the gym, doing the regular stuff, eating healthy. Like it'll show in your face and your body. Like it will clearly show, and people respect that, right? One reason a lot of people say they put fitness above business is because fitness is your mental, mind state, right? If you have good fitness, you take care of yourself, usually your mind, you can, you have control over it. It's being overweight and being, it looks like you lost control of your body, including your mind, right? Because your mind is the reason you eat the things you do and you do the things you do, right? So appearance is super important, and especially on sales calls. I'm speaking directly here. I mean, this is of course life, but in my experience, just talking from someone who's younger, it really, really does matter, and people will take you way more seriously if you look more presentable and you look more put together, if that makes sense. So that's kind of like lesson 2. That's very quick, and that's very kind of just like straight to the point, but I think you guys understand that point. And then 3, I would say for sure, is kind of having that delusion of things. So I made a video actually at this place right down on that dock down there. I made a video, and I talked a lot about how I talked with people who are successful that I've known for years. I had spoke with them just in the past few weeks. And one thing that came super true about all these people that I realized when I was speaking to them is they all had delusion to getting better results, right? Like what I mean by that. People won't make $1 million in their life. A lot of people can't make $1 million in their whole lifetime, if we look at the whole global population. But then there's those people who say, I'm going to make $1 million a month. It's a different mindset. It's like a scarcity mindset compared to an abundance mindset. They might not have that abundance mindset yet, but they know that's the North Star, right? A lot of people here, they have scarcity. So having delusion almost, and I say delusion, it's kind of connotated, it's like a bad word, like no one wants to be delusional. But I think if you're delusional to the right things, you can be massively successful. And this is coming from me, which I've done this myself. For myself, I've always told myself, I'm going to make 10K a month, right? At 17 years old, 16 years old. I'm going to make 50 grand a month. I'm going to make 100 grand a month. We very transparently, I want to make this very clear, especially if you watch previous videos. I made about $110,000 last month. And I would say that's not profit, that's revenue. So want to make that super, super clear. Like, guys, revenue is very different than profit. Profit I pay myself. I'm very transparent. I make about 10 to 15K a month. That's what I pay myself personally. Now there's money that goes into the business account. I work with another guy. His name's Wyatt. So if you guys have ever seen him, and then there's expenses, right? So there's all that stuff. And the point is I was always delusional towards my goals. I always said, I'm going to make 100 grand a month, right? In my business. That's what we did, right? 18 years old. Most people would look at that and say that's insane. But for myself, I think that's a bad month now. We've already done that. Where's 200K, right? It's that delusion to that next step. I did this with fitness. I did this with everything. Because if you can't speed up the goals and like what's going to happen in reality in your mind, then it's not going to happen in real life until it's like super slowed. It's like super, super slow to get there unless you've sped it up in your mind that it's going to happen quicker. So these are just quick 3 things that I think are super important. Anyone listening to this, hopefully this made sense. I just jump on this channel to really just show and document what I learned through my day-to-day, right? As I'm saying, in like a super cool castle right now, it's super, very, very nice. It's a cool experience, something I can look back on. But point is like, these 3 things are the reason that I've been able to do these cool things. And I think it's only fair I share them with you, And I'm very transparent. I would say I'm an open book on this channel. You can DM me on Instagram. I usually reply to everyone. If you send me kind of like questions you may have for me, sometimes I'll reply. I've got a Discord. You can DM me, or you can check the description on how to get that. That's free. You can, talk with me in there. Like, I'm a very open book around a lot of this stuff, and I don't think a lot of people are. And this is someone I wish I had when I was starting, because I didn't know who to find. I didn't know the group of people I wanted to find. I didn't know the common thinkers. I think that, I couldn't find them when I was starting. And that's what I want to be kind of to people, but obviously I can't open myself up too much. I've got to keep things a little bit under control just because I've obviously got a lot of things going on. So yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Honestly, like I said, you can hit me up on Instagram. You can follow me there. You can join my Discord, do anything like that if you want to get a hold of me, or maybe just see the stuff I'm doing. I post some stuff on Instagram here and there. So yeah, guys, hopefully this made sense. Hopefully these 3 things you can take into your own life, especially if you're younger. This is coming from someone who's also young. And yeah, guys, I mean, this is only going to help you. You know, this isn't going to hurt you, especially just talking to the camera like this, right? If you can get better and better and better at this stuff, people will respect that, because when you speak with them, they will know this guy isn't messing around. This guy knows what he's talking about, and he has conviction behind what he's saying. Okay? So that's about it for this video, guys. Hopefully this made sense, and I'll see you guys in the next one.